Welcome to the FWOT Show on the Coil Entertainment Network, pointing out idiocy one story at a time. I'm Rob Steele, that's Jesus Jones in the background, and let's kick it off with the State of the Union. Yes, Donnie Trump came out and gave his State of the Union speech, which I'll sum up for you in 3 words. It's falling apart. All I should really have to tell you about the speech is that Trump averaged a provably false claim every 4.5 minutes. That's actually down for him, so maybe he is getting better. No, he's not, because afterwards he said that people who don't clap for him at his speeches are committing treason because you clap for the president. Unless, of course, you're Paul Ryan and it's President Obama, or, who was that woman who was just refusing to clap for the president? Oh yeah, Melania. Didn't clap at all. Other news that also came out that I found interesting, in 2017, for every $10 Donald Trump spent, 2 of it was on legal fees. Now, what was that about a president being indicted needing to resign again? Didn't you say that, Donnie? Meanwhile, Draco-Malfoy clone and South Carolina Congressman Trey Gowdy announced he's retiring. He said, and I'll quote, "This is the right time for me to leave politics and return to the justice system." I think that's spectacular. At least it's only in South Carolina, so it's a smaller scale of injustice than he had previously. Yeah, I said injustice. Kind of like what happened at Angevine Middle School in Lafayette, Colorado. They have a gym teacher named Karen Smith who has been suspended because she's been accused of assaulting a student who refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Really? The Lafayette Police Department are looking into this, and I'm so glad that we live in the land of the free. Stand for the flag, Sieg Heil! Because, that's what you do. Speaking of standing for the flag, I just want to ask, is kneeling for the flag really less respectful than standing with your hand over your heart like they want you to? What is it you Christians do at church when you're praying to your God? Is it standing with your hand over your heart? No, it's not. You take a knee. So that's less respectful to your God than the flag. All right. But you know what? While we're talking legal stuff, non-disclosure agreements have been in the news a lot recently, like the one Stormy-Daniels had about her affair with Trump, which she doesn't say she has because she can't, because that's how it works. I would like to put my 2 cents in on this. If you have a non-disclosure agreement and you disclose something illegal that happened, there really should not be any ramifications against you, right? I mean, something illegal happened. I'm not saying what happened between Trump and Stormy was illegal, but the idea of Trump having sex at all is frankly fairly nauseating. And if I'm told to turn down my stereo because my neighbors think it's too loud, then there should be a parallel penalty for the concept of Trump having sex nauseating so many millions of people. I'm just saying. And speaking of sex, I don't care in the slightest about the mayor of Nashville, Megan Barry, saying she had an affair with her bodyguard. I don't. Who cares? Did it affect her job? Did she all of a sudden start becoming insatiable and blowing street signs or acting unusual in any other way? No? Then why do we care? If she's doing a good job and the whole thing is consensual and he's of legal age, no crime is actually committed there. Now, because I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight, I will say that I don't condone this. But it's her life and not mine. Land of the free, you remember that? Do what you want so long as it's legal. And this is. Move along to this somewhat sex-related story from Don Boy again. Here's a quote. No, you know what? Better yet, I'm going to let him say it.
Right now, in a number of states, the laws allow a baby to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change.
And people voted for this idiot. No, I'm sorry. That's not fair. Saying that is demeaning to idiots. going back to school, only this time let's go to Lebanon, Tennessee, because for some reason my home state keeps coming up with ways to get into the show. Wow. This time it comes from Lebanon High School in, oddly enough, Lebanon, Tennessee, where a student named Emily Gibson created a video that the school says was trying to incite violence. The title of this video is How to Not Bully People. Okay, that's technically not the title of the video, but that's what it is. It's a video that went viral. Several 100,000 people have watched this video about how not to bully people. She says she made it because there was a student who was bullied at the school, who went to school administration, who didn't give a rat's ass about how this kid was being bullied, and the kid committed suicide. That's not a good thing. Now, the principal of the school has seen the video, and he says that it's demeaning to the school, and, I'll quote here, "It hurt my feelings." Really? You're the principal and it hurt your feelings? Let me sum this up in 2 quite easy words. Fuck you. Children are being physically bullied in your school to the point where they're trying to kill themselves. Your job is to keep the kids safe, and they aren't because you're not doing your job. So I say to thee, again, fuck you. The Olympics are coming up, and you know what? I'm afraid I can't bring myself to care about the Winter Olympics. I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention to it, except for this story about Norway's really successful alpine ski team, because it's Norway. They have snow, they have mountains. Hey, who knew they could ski? Go figure. Anyway, they have sweater uniform things going on the shoulder of the sleeve is a symbol. It's a hexagon with an arrow in it. It points up. That must be the neo-Nazi symbol. And that's what people are saying about this ski team, is that they're all Nazis because they have that symbol on their shoulder, even though it's actually the symbol of the Norse deity, the god of war, Tyr, Tyr, in case you were interested in looking him up. Now, the Nordic symbol, Nordic? Wait a minute. They're from Norway, Nordic, Norway. Hey, that's where this shit comes from, people. This symbol has been used for thousands of years. Just because some white supremacist assholes decided we're going to use it too, doesn't mean that's what it's always going to mean. Someone needs to go watch the beginning of the Da Vinci Code again. I'd like to point out this whole arrow pointing up thing. I have a tattoo on my left shoulder from Rush's Snakes and Arrows album. Now, it contains a Buddhist symbol with an arrow pointing up in it. I'm not a Nazi, and neither was Buddha. Knock it off. But speaking of music, and just because I have nowhere else to really put this story, Best Buy has announced that it's going to be around June when they stop selling compact discs. And if I lost you on the term compact disc, it's a CD. They're going to stop selling CDs. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Makes me feel old. Tech news of the week. 2 steps forward and 1 to the side. I don't know. It's not necessarily a step back. We'll start with the good news. New Jersey's governor, a guy by the name of Phil Murphy, who's a Democrat, because, this is a positive story, therefore, he signed an executive order in his state that says if you're an internet service provider and you want to do business in New Jersey, you're going to follow President Obama's net neutrality laws. Let's have more of that. Nationwide would be great, but you know what? If each state has to do it individually, then do it. Other good tech news. Do you remember back in, I think it was May, when Microsoft came out with Windows 10 S? The S stood for stupid, I'm guessing, because it was a version of Windows that came on your computer, and it was really just locked down to using Microsoft-only software. What a bad idea that is. Well, they've decided to discontinue it because too many people said, we don't want that. Bad idea. So they're getting rid of it. A major company listening, what a concept. And now for the part that is not necessarily a good idea. Part of me knows that popular video games are going to show up on multiple platforms. If it's big enough, you'll have a game on the Xbox and the PlayStation and the Nintendo, whatever system they want to come out with now. But I mentioned Nintendo because when they have a popular game, usually involving Mario or The Legend of Zelda, what they do is keep it on their system alone, so you have to buy their system. That has been true of all the Mario games, especially Mario Kart, which is a little racing game. If you've never played it, I honestly think you should try it, although not necessarily on the system that it's coming out for. That would be the iOS and the Android systems. That means you can play it on your iPhone or your Droid, whatever system you've got on your phone, you'll be able to play these Mario Kart games. Part of me thinks that's going to be fun. That'll be great. The other part of me is thinking, what about people who play games while they're driving, which is already a bad idea? I mean, can you actually get an extra ticket for driving recklessly while playing Mario Kart? I mean, I just think this is a bad idea. It might reduce road rage somehow because, in the game you can throw bananas at other cars. But in real life, I wouldn't recommend that. In sports, because someone's got to bring it up, the Super Bowl happened. The Eagles won. That's nice. Didn't care. I did see the opening of it. Quite by accident, I was actually testing out to see if NBC's new streaming video system would work, and you know what? It seemed to work fine. And, this is important, and I noticed that when they sang the national anthem, in the background, there were what looked like a lot of women holding an enormous American flag. And you know what they were doing while Pink was singing the national anthem, while holding this flag? They were kneeling. No one seems to have given a shit about them holding the flag while kneeling on a football field during the national anthem. Haven't seen a damn thing about that. Why? Maybe because they're all white. I didn't see any black women, Asian women, Native American women. And if I left your particular ethnicity out, sorry, I didn't see you there either. All kneeling during the anthem. Now, I did hear that they weren't having a big deal about kneeling at the anthem because none of the players were doing it. Except for Rob Gronkowski, who seemed to be taking a knee at the time. I'm just saying, does Rob Gronkowski not count? I can name 2 Patriots. He's one of them. Actually, I think the only reason to tune into the Super Bowl anymore is because of the commercials. Except you just don't anymore because most of the commercials are actually released before the Super Bowl, making them non-Super Bowl commercials. They're just commercials. I'm just saying. The best of this year's commercials, I'm going to have to give it to Tide, although I'm disappointed at the same time. They had one big Tide ad that tied into a lot of little other Tide ads that frankly were actually funny. If you find them online, which is easy, get them, watch them, find them.
Get off my horse.
That line you will laugh at a lot later. Anywho, the reason I'm disappointed by it is because they didn't say anything about, hey, don't eat the Tide Pods, which apparently still has to be said. Now, there were a few trailers, which brings me back to something that I'm sure will be brought up this Sunday on Cinema Savants. The Black Panther movie opens this Friday, and there are Christian groups protesting this Marvel movie because he's black. Yeah, okay, if you can come up with another reason, I'm just saying. And the people who are protesting are the same ones who support Ben Carson, who once said that illegal immigrants caught voting should be stripped of their citizenship. Why are we following the stupid black guy? If you can explain that, let me know. Contact the show through the website, thefwotshow.com, or send me an email, rob@thefwotshow.com, or click those buttons on the website that go to Facebook and Twitter. And you know what? While you're there, don't forget to go to the FWOT shop. Pick up a hat, a t-shirt, coffee mug. They all make nice gifts. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this. It's gotten so bad in our society now that apparently we need this. Hasbro has decided to release a cheaters edition of Monopoly, where you can do whatever you want unless you get caught. Yeah, it's played like regular Monopoly, and if you roll the dice and it comes up a 6 and you move 7 spaces and no one catches it, that's fine. And if you rob the bank, pass go, get $200. I picked up 3. Let's see if anyone notices. Oh, that's fine. I got away with it. Haha. But if you get caught because someone says, hey, you took 300 instead of 200. You go directly to jail, and I'd like to be making this part up. You get handcuffed to the board because, yeah, this is a good idea. Now, not only is there a game based on a literal financial crime, it's encouraging you to cheat at that. I'm just waiting to find out what the little pieces you move around the board are going to be. No shoe or thimble here. No, I'm expecting one of the pieces to be a little bust of Donnie Trump. You know what? Be safe until next show, because, wow, it's getting really bad out there.